Hi everyone, please take note of the following disclaimer. Please note that this video is for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes. It does not constitute financial advice. We are not registered financial advisors. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I got Chris Cullen, Senior VP, Head of ETFs at Brompton, and today we're going to talk about their brand new higher yielding ETF that just came out. Very exciting, PAYG. How are you, Chris?
Well, I'm fantastic, Adrian. Thanks for asking. So glad to be back and welcome everybody.
Yeah, so in case you didn't know, and my community is on top of all high yield launches, this is very exciting because this is one of the higher yielding new launches from Brompton, who's a community favorite with the split funds. But now you got Class A ETF, which is an all-in-one with the split funds. And now you guys came out with the Brompton Global Equity High Pay ETF. This is brand new. It was just listed a couple of days ago. The stock symbol is PAYG. So tell me a little bit about this one, Chris. Why did you guys decide to launch this one? Who's it designed for? I know you got some material ready. You guys have some already great material up on your website here, Why Invest Fund Profile, so we could already see the stocks, but the floor is yours.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Adrian. It took a little while really for us to get here. I'll be fully honest with you. Our firm is a conservative investment firm. We're always thinking about how to benefit our clients, but in a way that's thoughtful and well planned out. We couldn't see it honestly to begin with when we started seeing these ultra high pay ETFs coming out. Just how we could jump in and kind of get a product out there that's consistent with our values. As I said, it did take quite a while, but we did ultimately engage with our PM team, engage with our board and our advisors. And I think the PMs, especially, kudos to them. Laura Lau is our Chief Investment Officer, and Mike Clare is our Senior Vice President here. I think you've talked to both of them in the
Talk
past.
to Laura. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they're very smart people, and
Yeah.
I think they came up with a portfolio that really balances the the growth that you need to write successfully a broad range of cover calls and generate those high distributions, but with prudence and with diversification and with features that really help the performance regardless of the type of direction that the market takes. We were a little bit uncomfortable with some of the exposures that we saw in some of the competitive high pay product, Bitcoin sort of related things. I mean, there's a place for it, and there's lots of product out there if clients want to do that. But I mean, I could start out with a little overview of the portfolio.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure. I always like, even as an investor, the first thing I always look at is the stock selection. Always, always, always. That's always going to be the primary driver of your return. So,
mhm.
yeah, this is a great graph. So, you guys have 20 stocks, I believe. So, maybe you could comment
That's right.
on stock selection.
Yeah. This will be an actively managed product, and it is an actively managed product. We're up and
Hmm.
running now, so I don't have to talk about it in the future tense anymore. And our PMs have gone out and selected some of the names that you may be familiar with in existing products out there, and some that you're not. As I mentioned, the goal was to really uh, kind of cover broadly both growth and more defensive areas, and to make sure that there was careful geographic diversification to deliver really a high quality product to our clients and to your viewers. We've got North America, Europe, and Asia. We've got I've just taken four thematic categories. AI infrastructure. So these companies like Microsoft, Nvidia, ASML, TSMC in Asia, and Broadcom. They're all actively supplying the AI build out. Microsoft is a leader in data centers, and you know what Nvidia does, of course. Broadcom has specialty chips. TSMC is one of the largest chip foundries in the world, and ASML has specialized lithography that helps to design and to print these silicon wafers. So all involved in a kind of a picks and shovel fashion in supplying the AI build out. The next tier there's also involvement in AI, but I wanted to call them out by just the fact that they have dominant consumer platforms globally. And what does this mean? It's search. You've got Google in there. You've got entertainment. Google, Amazon, and Sony are all very much engaged in that. E-commerce with Alibaba, Temu, and Amazon. So it's kind of bringing the consumer element. You could kind of think of the AI infrastructure layer as being more industrial, and this is like the consumer layer of the digital economy. And then to kind of continue our barbell, so high growth at the top here. What we have in the energy transition tier and the real assets tier. These are companies that are supplying raw materials to the world. These types of companies tend to provide a layer of inflation protection.
Yep.
And these are the supplies that you need to kind of make the world go round and to really also to supply the AI build out. In some cases, GE Verona or Vernova, sorry, is involved in energy transition, and energy is a very important concern for the AI build out. Agnico Eagle, a gold company, so great inflation hedging properties there. FedEx is just a steady industrial performer, and it's very much linked to the economy globally. Shell, you all know Shell as
Yeah,
a major
energy.
energy producer, and BHP is a materials company. Then finally, there's a defensive layer here. We've got a couple of major pharmaceuticals in Lilly and Johnson and Johnson. You've got non-cyclical type of consumer staples in the Walmart area, right? This is a company that's making money when the economy's up and when it's down because it's providing critical goods and services to the consumer. And then a couple of major banks, really fortresses of balance sheet strength. So I think we're covering growth, we're covering defense. We've got inflation hedging capabilities in this portfolio, and this is truly a global portfolio of major names, many of which we won't find in competitive products. So,
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this stock selection. To be honest, when I first saw it, I'm like, wow, this is really well thought out. It doesn't surprise me what you said at the beginning of the video that it took you guys longer to get there. But obviously, when you launch something, I know Brompton is very careful to actually you guys launch very well thought out products. So this is diversification on top of diversification, right? You got the sector diversification, but also the geographic. These are also big boys, right? The big companies, big blue chips. It kind of reminds me a little bit, to be honest, of your stock selection in your GDV split fund, which is like the one of the only globally diversified split share funds that has diversification. But this one, it doesn't seem it's super like GDV is more dividend focused, like
mhm,
dividend growers. This is more just large cap. A lot of these stocks don't have dividends, so but they're growth stocks. And then you have some more defensive names like Walmart and other things like that. So really
yeah,
cool stock selection here. Are you guys
amazing.
firm on these 20? You said
No,
before
no.
actively manage. Okay, you could add and subtract as you see fit, but is it always going to be 20 or could it be 25 in the future? Could it be less?
This is our first entry into the portfolio here. As we grow the fund, it may be prudent to increase the number of names in the portfolio, right? But
Okay.
as far as this style of product goes, and by the way, the similarity of stock selection to GDV is really because this type of portfolio building is what our portfolio team likes to do. And you're correct that GDV is a dividend growth portfolio. Whereas this has another application here. We want to balance the growth and the defensiveness with the ability to generate that higher level of distributions that we're going to be providing in global high pays here.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Awesome. I'll if you don't mind, I'll just stop the screen sharing for a second. I want to get into the fun stuff here. So this seems to be, and this is on your website as well on the page, and you guys have great documentation. It seems like this is going to be the first one where you have two distributions a month or 24 distributions a year, which is getting more and more popular
yeah.
in Canada. You also declared the first semi-monthly distributions as well at 20 cents. So you do 20 cents times 24 instead of 12 because it's going to be twice a month, and you divide it by the initial NAV at 24. Right now the stock's about 25 because the last couple of days have been pretty good. So you're pretty much in a pretty good high double digit yield here that everyone could calculate for themselves. This seems to be like you guys' highest yielding product. So tell me how you're managing to get this yield. It's very, very important. Obviously, there's covered calls and there's leverage. So let's start with the leverage component. You guys decided on 25%, right?
Yeah, we thought 25% was a prudent level to come out with. We want to be able to balance the ability to write options and generate that high level of distributions with a bit more of a lower volatility overall investment experience for clients. So 25, we thought was the right level.
Yeah.
Um, as far as the option rating goes, the
Hmm.
team's currently contemplating approximately 40 to 45% coverage of the portfolio, with options that are written 2 to 3% out of the money. In most cases, it'll all depend on where they find value along that options curve. But that's the initial thought.
Okay,
The
that's
initial
super
positions
important.
have been put
So
on similarly to that.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, and I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm in Panama. There's a bit of a delay, so don't mean to interrupt. There's people think I always interrupt, but hey, we're not trying to do that. So, okay, the cover call. So very, very important. So this is gonna be an active strategy, not a systematic strategy.
Mhm.
So, there's some competitors right now in Canada that have the highest yields. They do at the money 50%. This is a little bit less than that. This is you said you're repeat if I have this right in the
Yeah.
40s,
Yeah.
slightly out of the money.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We'd like to reserve a little bit of room to let the portfolio grow. We launched yesterday, and the whole market was up kind of 2 to 5%, right? Depending on what
Yeah.
areas you looked at. And that's that's the kind of market conditions that we want to allow to benefit the NAV in this ETF. So writing a little bit out of the money allows some participation where otherwise, if you rate at the money, you've sold away all your upside. You get your premium, but that's about it. So, we think that that's really yesterday's market. In the first day of listing was demonstrative of the value of that approach.
Yeah. So I'm assuming compared to your other ETFs, because you have a bunch of other covered call ETFs which are included in
Mhm.
your all-in-one BMAX. So
Yeah.
you are doing more covered calls on this particular ETF on this portfolio to achieve the higher yields, but you're thinking it's still the yield is very sustainable, but we're still not super high in terms of coverage. We're still active. We're still a little bit out of the money, and we're near
Mhm.
the 40% range. I think that's great. I think that's a really good balance, to be honest, between high yield and market participation. So,
Great. Yeah,
congratulations
I
on
mean,
that. That's pretty cool.
I'll tell you for the balance of our cover call funds, what I guess the way we look at it is that
Hmm.
the PMs are there to construct the portfolio, to select the right investments, and to grow the capital. And they're given cover calls as a supplementary tool to express views. Perhaps if they have concerns that the market is going to get volatile in the short term, they could write cover calls to help to protect the portfolio. We really shifted our viewpoint, the way that we're thinking about writing cover calls for this particular fund for global high pays. Cover calls are central to the investment effort, really. So yeah, we are writing at a higher coverage level and just giving a lot of thought about how we can produce that distribution yield while still giving participation in the investments capital returns.
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered everything. Stock selection, cover calls. The management fee is 60 basis points, so zero point 0.6, which is pretty much in range with, other leveraged, actively managed cover, maybe even slightly less than the average,
Mhm.
which is great. So, pretty cool, pretty cool. Congrats on the launch. I think it definitely has a good fit in someone's portfolio that's looking for maybe something global, something blue chip global with that high yield as well, but not overly high yield like some other products out there. So Personally, I don't have any other questions for PAYG. I think it's pretty straightforward, and looking forward to tracking its success.
Fantastic, as are we, Adrian, and always appreciate your and your viewers' support. So thank you for having me on today.
Well, it's a pleasure. Take care, my friend. Talk soon.
Talk soon.